DLC Cody holds up his carbon and here's it. He's shot. He's struck. And this has been fired a lot. That's not bad at all. You drop that in an ultrasonic range for about 15 minutes, you're back to normal again. You do that about every 1,000 rounds, this will last you from 50 to 100,000 rounds.
What's up, everybody? Luke here with True Southern TV. Welcome to ShotShow Recap Day 1. This is a new thing for us. We're kind of testing out this year to see how it works. And so we're sitting here in the Venetian in our suite. If this goes well, then maybe next year we're going to expand a little bit. And who knows, maybe we'll end up on the show floor. Hopefully everybody out there can hear me okay. I've got no idea. I haven't really tested the system. So this is going to be like a shit show from the very beginning to the very end. And I'm here for all of it.
100%.
We'll call this shit show
Shit Show 2024 is perfect. Yeah, no, I think that's great. Just right out of the gate. Hey, right beside me, Whit Noble. He is my counterpart for ShotShow. Every year comes and helps me film. He's like my kind of like my gun aficionado when we're on the floor. He keeps all the knowledge at this point. I'm just the camera guy, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, and beside that, I've got Michael. He's the undercooked half of Creekside Consulting.
Yes.
You'll meet the overcooked half here in a little bit. We're not racist. We don't have time for that here, but that is how that worked out. Guys, Range Day 2024. Range Day every year for me is kind of like one of those things. I don't know if I love it or hate it, especially when I'm there, because it's a lot happening. There's a lot of lines. There's a lot of people. This year was expanded upon that because they let that's usually it's cut. So you have your media the first half of the day, and the second half of the day you have like other people, and I don't know who they are, and they're not my problem. But today they let everybody in at the beginning, so a little bit more crowded. There's been a lot of different companies over the years that have started dropping out of Range Day because they didn't feel like it was serving any purpose other than they were a glorified, pimp for ammo. Really is what it was. People are just coming in to shoot for free and for fun. It's hard to do video there because there's so many shots being taken down range. So it's kind of morphed into this kind of weird thing as a whole, but I still love it. Like every year I go, I don't know how I'm going to feel about it. I'll leave and I'm like, okay, I'm glad I did it. I can't wait to do it again next year. So tell me y'all's thoughts on it. This is your second year for Range Day? This is your first time for Range Day?
No, I came long time.
Are you okay? You drank too much,
Yeah,
didn't
no,
you?
I just
Yeah,
went
it
down the wrong
happens. I
pipe.
hate. I get it. Lightweights. Yeah.
Rookie.
Rookie. No. Okay. So you've both been here before. How'd you feel like Range Day this year compared to years past?
This year seemed like there was less innovative new ideas.
Oh, yeah.
So, but
Okay.
the PTR with their 3D printed
Suppressor.
that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was. I've got video. I can show y'all. But tell me, so, when we start Range Day every year, we kind of start on one side and we kind of work our way down. PTR is one of the first booths. Usually the first booths get the most of our attention because all of us are so ADD that Adderall doesn't touch us. So, like, we're halfway through and we're scrolling pretty hard and we're looking for food. And at that point, we've kind of lost interest a little bit. One year, we should really start, like, on the other side of the range and walk up. But sorry to anybody that's downrange. But tell me what it was when we got up to PTR. I know you had talked a little bit, Michael, ahead of time about their suppressor. What was it about their suppressor that drew you in?
I like the fact that it's a 3D printed and it's titanium. I'd really like to see how it handles with, like, what we were talking about, multiple shots going into it to see what that titanium does when it actually heats up.
Yeah,
But
it was very porous.
and it was very, very, very quiet. It was probably the quietest 5.56 can I've ever heard.
Right.
Ever.
Period.
Yeah.
You could not hear the round coming out. I mean, honestly, you're sitting there and all you hear is the action of the gun.
Well, they were saying they put, thousands of rounds through it, and they forgot to clean it for the next show they went to, and they took the bottom off, tapped it, dumped all the stuff out,
Right.
put it back on,
Right.
went to town.
So what does that look like, though? Because the one thing I don't know, and I almost spilled my whiskey party fouled early in my Delta Fuego cup. We'll talk about these in a minute, by the way. We've got several people hanging out in the background. We've got Renee with CTZ and Delta Fuego. We've got, what's your darker counterpart's name? The overcooked one? Curtis, I'm so sorry, buddy. And I did that on his live video, too, so you're welcome for that. We've got Jamie and we've got Amy. That's a fun combination. I've never set them next to each other. From Stills and Stilettos and from ALM. So we're going to be swapping some people in a minute. Back to the suppressor for a second. It is... we're back. So being a 3D printed suppressor, what is that? How do we feel about that? Because I know personally one of the things that you brought up with that kind of made me realize it is what's the durability of this in a long term, but what's the durability in a high count shoot?
Well, full auto. That's what I want to see.
Right.
Back to back.
Yeah, I would absolutely love to see it full auto, put 5 magazines through it, full auto. That's really going to tell you whether or not it's going to be able to...
What's a sleeve going to do over it, too? So,
true.
Yeah. Is it going to melt through a sleeve?
like, is it being porous? Is that's what helping it expand or whatnot? Like,
Yeah.
how's that going to...
And how does it recuperate after
Yeah.
that much heat goes through? I think that's the bigger question with something 3D printed like that is what does that recuperation look like once you, even if it doesn't melt it to the point of being unusable, when cold air hits that again, how does that form back? because there's a process there that's smarter than me. I'm not a chemist or whatever.
What's it going to be like when you wrap bacon around it and go full auto? So
Can you cook bacon on it?
I guarantee you can cook bacon on it. I'm
Is it
pretty
gonna be
sure.
toxic?
I'm pretty sure it's going to cook real fast.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I think so too.
The one thing I'm worried about is the baffling in it. The baffling's already 3D printed as one piece.
Right. You can't do anything about it.
No, you're once that's done, that's done.
That's it.
That
if you have a
that
light
can's
strike,
done.
that's going to chunk it.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So
It's going to tumble right inside of it, and that's, you're done.
I think it just like anything else, we've got to
trial and error.
trial and error. I mean, once we start seeing it put through some of those tests where what I always want to see from suppressor companies, and I feel like you can tell a lot by the companies that avoid it, is I want to see a destruction test every time. I want to see you destroy this can because I want to know what I can push it to.
Right.
Yep.
If you as a company are not willing to do that, then I'm not willing to buy your product because I don't know what it's capable of doing or not capable of doing. That's a big deal for me. I kind of feel that way about guns too. Like I want to put guns, like I want to go bury it in the mud and then pull it out. My Glock I can take and bury it in the mud and pull it out and it's still going to shoot every time.
Stress test.
Right. But there's some
I
others
would
that
like
won't.
to see it with a gun that was not made by their company.
Right.
Put it on a Scorpion.
Right.
You know what I mean? Put it on something else. Put it on another platform that's a 9 like that, and then test it that way.
What happens if you put it on the what is the gun that the Henry 223 where the barrel was 8,000 degrees?
Oh, that thing was hot.
What happens if you
that
put
was
that
hot.
suppressor on that barrel and just round count it? I
We
mean,
could cook bacon for sure.
I think you're cooking more than bacon. Yeah.
Well, we cooked our thumbs.
Yeah,
So-
that was the hottest barrel I've ever touched.
It warmed up the pinky. I just put my hand right on top.
Let's talk about that pinky.
You can't do that.
Okay, next subject, he
You
said.
had gloves. You had gloves on though.
I know. That's
Yeah.
what I did. I was sat there. I was hoping the glove just melted to it.
You
It
were
felt-
smarter
it felt
than us.
Great.
It felt so good, huh? Yeah. No, it burnt the life out of my fingers. So aside from that, they also had another gun that I was kind of surprised by there, or surprised by, not suppressed by. It was also suppressed though. Anybody remember the name of it? I've got
the Archon.
how do you, Archon.
It's a German manufactured gun. Remember that she was explaining
Right.
to us that they're
So is it-
making them in Germany now.
Archon? Archon?
Archon.
If you're
Arkham
gonna
Asylum.
create a product, give it a name that we can say
Yes. Yes.
because that's going to help your product go further. You know why we like Glocks? Because we can say Glocks. We're stupid Southerners, and we're like, hey, Glock. Anybody,
it's very easy.
But name something Archon or Archon. I don't know what that is. But wildly impressed by that. It was a M5 platform that
the muzzle. There was no rise. Regardless.
No.
Right.
It was absolutely a beautiful gun to shoot. The trigger on it was amazing. Third shot, we were hitting steel at what 50.
Yeah.
with no problem.
Yeah,
No
and
problem.
Just John Wicking it at 50 with first
Right.
time ever shooting a gun, third shot.
Right.
That should not happen right out the gate,
and
especially with a can.
Well, that's it. And not only that, but at 50, still seeing your impact through your RDS. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
impressive. That says a lot too, because when you get anytime you get a gun in your hand for the first time, you're gonna fight a little bit. It's a different platform. No matter what it is, it's gonna be different than what you're used to shooting. So there's always gonna be a little bit of, and we'll talk about this in a minute. We saw this with another company, with Bilson, where it kind of bit us a little bit. But you've got to get that. So the most impressive thing again for me on the M5 is the same thing. Is the fact that I put it down range and it never moved. It felt like I was plinking.
Yes,
Right.
It literally felt like you had
A 22.
It felt like you had a can on a Glock 44.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
That's really what it felt like. There was no
Or like
no,
an airsoft gun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
airsoft gun.
Yeah. So very, very cool. I think they did a good job this year of having some great products. Whit hit it earlier. It's the constant struggle with ShotShow of we want new stuff all the time. And I think, and I don't mean this as any hit towards ShotShow at all, but this is 8 or 9 years for me. I don't know, at ShotShow, something like that. And I feel like my second year or third year is when Glock came out with the 43X and the 48X. Was that 5 years ago? 4 years ago?
43X.
So the 43X came out 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Along with just the 48, and then the MOS.
Right,
The
Yeah.
right. The MOS. I'm sorry. Yeah,
MOS came
yeah.
out the next year.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
So that's the last time I remember really something new hitting that people were like excited about. Like Smith and Wesson tried it this year with their 1863 or I don't know.
1863.
Yeah.
Is that is what they're calling
the
it?
lever action.
It's a lever action. It's let's call it what it is. It's a Henry Model X.
Yes,
with the Smith and Wesson name, a flat trigger, a little bit bigger loop. Okay, so not saying it's not a good gun. I'm excited to have it. We have multiple brands for multiple reasons. Different people like to shoot different things. Different people shoot better with different things. So I love that Smith and Wesson entered that game. Fine. But I don't feel like we've had the true innovation. Browning dropped new products this year, but it's their X-Bolt 2 and their another version of their shotgun. Not either one of them, not bad products. I'm happy that we're continuing to build, but we haven't seen a huge, massive change where it's been like, oh my God, I have to go get this today.
The wow factor.
That's right.
Yeah.
There was no wow factor today.
No,
I'll be completely honest.
No.
I had absolutely no wow factor today.
None at all. Even meeting me wasn't a wow factor.
I mean, there was more.
I feel like that
it was like a Catholic priest wow factor.
Are we?
Yeah.
Cornhole?
I think we're gonna. I think this is for a different show that we'll film later live in the upper portion of the suite. But
Whoa.
It was a seamless. Like we all got along great.
Right.
When it came to the guns, I mean, you can shoot as many guns as you want, and it's
Repetitive.
It's repetitive.
Right,
And
it is.
Today kind of seemed like it was a repetitive action. It was the same thing. I mean, Sig wasn't there. Where was Sig?
Right. And SIG they stopped coming 3 years ago. Were they here last year? I can't remember. I don't think so.
No, I don't.
No, I think they pulled out 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Like,
Where's Vortex? Were they?
I think Vortex has gotten to a point, and correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know. And I can't, for some reason, I feel like they may not. Were they here last year on the main floor? I feel like they pulled their booth last year, but I could be completely wrong. We see so much, and it's all ran together.
Yeah.
But Vortex is also at a point, and let's be honest about this. Vortex doesn't have to market anymore.
No, absolutely not. No.
You know what I mean? They can stop. Their marketing team can stop right now, put all that money into R&D, and they can
Right.
do some crazy stuff. They came out so strong and so hard. I'll tell you what did it for Vortex that a lot of companies can learn from is Vortex came out and said, you know what? Here's our product. We stand behind it so much that no matter what you do to it, we're going to give you a new one. Bam, you've got my business because I'm going to tear the shit out of some stuff. Like that is my thing.
They use the Milwaukee platform.
That's right.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, yep, go ahead and break it.
Yeah.
We'll give you another one.
Please. Yeah. And I've
No questions.
yeah.
Period.
And I've sent them in with no questions at all. Like they've been so good in that process. So because they started out like that, they built such a fan base that they don't have to now. You're seeing them on everything. You can't pull up a YouTube video without seeing a Vortex optic.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
It's there. And that doesn't mean there's not other great ones out there that I love, but that they've just created such a name. So, you know, I think they probably don't have to have the presence that a lot of other companies do. But you're right. We're not seeing the push from a lot of companies that we used to 5, 6, 7 years ago at ShotShow.
Yeah, where was the Springfield Echelon?
Right.
It came out mid-year.
Right.
That's supposed to be their combat pistol.
Right.
And I mean, it's a great pistol, but you really want to get it out there and you want to have people seeing it. You'd be like, oh, hey,
Yeah.
like this is the gun to shoot. I love it. I love shooting that gun.
Right.
Right.
That's the thing. So, but we did see a new product that is. I feel like for the first time, maybe they thought of. Okay, so here we go. They thought about something in a different way than how we're used to thinking about it, and I don't fault them at all for that. And I think it has a purpose. I'm just not sure we found it yet. We talked about it on the way home. We'll get into that in a second. But I've got a cheat here. But the Bilson BA-15. And it is an AR-15 with a forward charging system. So what happens is you lose that rear. You've got your charging port, your forward assist. You know, you've got everything that's in the rear of your AR-15 is now on the front in a handle. I'm gonna be honest with you. It feels like you're holding a Remington 870.
Yeah.
As an AR-15, it feels like you're holding a Remington 870. It feels like you're holding a pump-action shotgun.
Right.
Now, the first time that I sat down and shot it, and Whit did too. I watched him do it, and I was so excited that I wasn't the only dummy that did it. Michael
trying
didn't
not
shoot
to
it
do
because
it.
he was too good for it, and it's fine. He's pretty, and we understand he
Okay,
can't shoot everything.
It's just difficult. Like I try to make sure that I'm not getting outside of what I'm normally training with. Like, and that's going to be something like
That's a fair point.
and that's what we talked about.
Yeah,
Like, you would literally have to change
Retrain.
everything that you do about your training with an AR, and then you're useless to anyone that you're working with because you're going to sit there and go, it's gonna look like you're jacking off a fucking rifle.
Well, like you said,
I mean, come on, that's literally what it's gonna look like. And I like it. I thought the design of the idea is great.
well, like you said,
See, that's what's going to bite me on this. Because you want to pump. You got your
I did. I tried not to.
Unbelievable. That's okay.
I said half of it.
I hope they can still hear us. I'm using a new system, so I'm hoping over the video here you can see us. But you can see the system here. Number one, here's the first awkward thing to me is I didn't know where to put my hands. I felt like Will Ferrell. Oh god,
the car handed knife.
because it was that handle was right at the. I wanted to be right at the edge of it, but it wasn't comfortable to hold it there. They had a grip at the very end. But I'm not going to hold a grip like this because this is not SEAL Team 6, the TV show. So I'm not going to do that. And I couldn't get my hand wrapped around on the front because the barrel was there. So awkward placement all around on that.
I think the grip they put there, though, was so your hand didn't go past while you're doing the demo.
Right.
I think that was placed there more for a safety
Maybe.
reason.
But I hated it there because
yeah,
I wanted to
I thought
use
you-
it.
yeah.
Like
Your hand kept doing this.
yeah, like if you
I
watch the
thought
video,
you're-
it's hard. And so, so what it does is when you charge it, you pull it back like a pump shotgun and you let go. You release it and that charges your AR system. Let's talk about the cons first. Let's just tell me your cons, Mike. I'll start with you and we'll kind of go around the room here. What are your cons with this concept, with this idea?
My cons is the fact that you would literally have to retrain anything that you've ever done, with any AR platform. You would have to take all of the knowledge that you have and switch it over, and you're the only person that's going to be using that AR.
Right.
And like we were talking, if you're like, say, if you're on a department and you're in an active shooter situation, your weapon goes down, you have to grab somebody else's. What are you going to do?
Yeah, you have a malfunction, and all of a sudden you're trying to charge this or clear a jam with something that's not there. And like you said, it looks like that point you're doing some dirty things to that rifle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think there's a place for it.
Right.
But the place is not. It's not for the everyday consumer that's going to use it all the time.
Okay, agreed. Wit, go.
Same thing. I mean, like, you had the perfect example. Your rifle goes down, boom. But like, also when you're sitting there doing, you're constantly thinking of you gotta pull it back to shoot every single time.
That's it. That's what I was going to say. My biggest thing was I feel like it took a little bit of my attention away from what was happening downrange because I was thinking about that charging handle. Now, the first thing I picked, I think I got ADD and I scrolled a second ago. But Whit and I both, when we picked it up, the first thing we did was we pulled up, we took a shot, and then we immediately pumped it like it was a shotgun, sending a live round out. Waste of round number one. If I'm in an active shooter situation, I need every round that I can get. I don't want to lose a round right there. So that was my number one problem. I got used to that. I will say, so on the positive for a second, they put dummy rounds in.
Yeah.
Clearing a dummy round once you got used to the system was quick and excellent. It was faster than pulling it off and trying to get through your typical charging system, right? So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. It was faster clearing once you got it. But again, it's everything. If you're going to go take a lesson from anybody on any gun, you're going to talk about memory muscle, period. That is one of the biggest things. You carry the same firearm every day because your memory muscle, or your muscle memory. And so I think that, again, was the biggest downfall for me. Now, we talked about it on the way back, and let's break this down a little bit. We're going over our time a little bit. We got about -4 minutes, but it's my show, so we can do what we want. But here in just a second, we're going to have Jamie and Renee from CZ and from Delta Fuego come in. We're going to talk to them. But before we do, let's talk about the possible positive advantage of what this system could be used for. And Michael, I think you talked about it, and especially with your experience, your background.
A designated marksman would be perfect for that. If you're sitting there and you're a squad, infantry squad for like the Marine Corps, and you have a DM, that'd be a perfect rifle for a DM because instead of trying to rack it back, you can still use it functionally if you needed to, but you can also use it where you're sitting there and you rack it back and you let it go and you're ready to actually take your one shot. That's it.
That's it. It's a pump action rifle.
That's it.
Yeah.
Let's call it what it is. It's a pump action rifle, which honestly sounds cool as shit. Like I kind of want one of those.
Well, it did, but it just made me really uncomfortable, like going to church. I just didn't like that. I didn't like that at all.
No, but I think that is a good place for it, for sure. Something where you have a single shot and you are using it to reset every time.
It's a better bolt action.
It's a better bolt
Yes,
action.
that's exactly
Yeah.
what it is. It is a great
It's smooth.
alternative to a bolt action.
Right, and I will
smooth.
say it was sturdy. It was a sturdy,
Yeah.
solid platform. So I don't
was
feel like I would
easy.
have a failure of
I
or
feel
anything like
you
that.
could take 2 fingers and do it.
That's
Like,
right.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
Well,
Okay.
tell-
Next subject.
tell
No,
us
no.
what you really
Let's stop that right before it gets anywhere else. All right. So they also had a cool little deal on this rifle that all 3 of us loved, which is nice. We all came in full agreement. The pivoting buttstock. Again, this is by Bilson. So they had basically a buttstock that just pivoted. There's no more technology than that.
it was like a T.
Yeah, so basically when you're shooting and you want to go to your sights, you instead of turning
Right.
with it, you just move your wrist.
Right.
Yeah.
It was pretty impressive.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
People always, one of the biggest questions I always get asked, especially from new shooters that come in, especially new hunters. So on any game that I'm hunting that could potentially become a threat for myself, when I'm using an AR platform, and I want to, my goal is always to shoot long range, but there's also that idea that something could get squirrely in the midst of it. I run 45 offsets.
Yep.
It's not because I want to be tactical, although that's the reason that a lot of people run them. But I love my 45 offsets because if something comes close, I want to be able to work close quarters, right?
Yep.
And so the idea of even having it for that reason,
Yeah.
the
Well,
fact that
that's
you can
the-
go
yeah, absolutely
45
amazing.
without having to fight or anything at all, it keeps you a good sight picture in, because a lot of times, especially when I see people go with a 45 offset to begin with, they're fighting with a sight picture to get back into that 45 window because they've adjusted stuff weird, right? It just doesn't fit in right. So really love that. All in all, I think range day, like I said, it's fun. It's fun to see new stuff. It's something I never want to give up on. It's not, it's not something I don't ever want to go to. But what I do want to see is I want to see a little bit more innovation.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know that I'll ever be happy. I think if everybody there had something new, I'd still be like, oh, I want more. Like, give me
Right.
more, bring me
Right.
more. But I think, even Bilson, if it's not a home run, at least bring it to the table.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, I would rather at least see it. Let's try it. And then maybe we do find another use for it.
What was the company that had the for the grip for, was it Flux?
Flux?
Flux, yeah.
That was absolutely amazing.
Man, Flux
Yeah,
is
yeah, Flux
people.
Those guys were awesome.
Yeah,
are.
it is
Cool
crazy,
guys, man.
crazy underrated company in my
It
opinion.
is. It is.
No, that was cool.
Yeah.
I thought,
That's my
I thought-
favorite people here.
And I really
Yeah.
thought
Yeah.
that was one of the most innovative things that they had out there today, was really their product for the
365. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
put a can on a 365
Oh,
and be able
man.
to conceal that and then bring it out and actually still use that was just absolutely
Right.
mind blown.
And make sure you subscribe to the channel because we will have a video on that coming this week. We're going to get with them on the floor. If you've watched our channel before, you know we've covered their stuff. We love Flux. They also have ETQ tourniquets. And if you've seen the channel, you know that I'm a huge fan of that carry. I've got like 4 of them within about 20 feet of me right now. And so I love their tourniquet game, especially...
They're tiny.
They're tiny.
Yeah.
It's not bulky.
That's it. It's great because the impression that it leaves. We tried it on a foam roller, and so we put that in a Cat 6 on a foam roller, and the impression, even though the Cat 6 is bigger, it actually has a piece of fabric that goes around that strap.
Yep.
So your impression is the exact same. So you're getting the exact same impression from the two. It's way smaller. It's like, I think they said 65% of
Yeah.
what the ETQ or the Cat 6 is. So way smaller, and they make an even smaller version, which I wouldn't want to use long term. You start talking about the ligament damage and that kind of stuff. But it is something that I can convince, like Jamie, for instance, who doesn't have the big pockets and the big everything like we do. Like, it's easy for her to slide that in her back pocket and convince her to carry a tourniquet with her where she's going.
It's about the size of like a Gerber. You could put it in a
Right.
Gerber holder.
That's right.
You could literally take your Gerber out, put a Gerber holder in it, and throw that in there.
Yeah.
And it's just the perfect size.
I
for something
love
like
it.
that.
And it was funny. You see it click in people. We were sitting there with a guy who was law enforcement. I can't remember where he was from. But you saw it click with him that he's sitting there looking at it. He's like, he's definitely questioning. He's like, I don't know. And I talked to him for a second. And then all of a sudden it was like, hey, so where can our department buy a whole stock of these? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's an instant click of like, oh, we don't have to overcomplicate tourniquets. And not that I don't want to talk bad about Cat 6. Cat tourniquets are phenomenal. They've been the industry leader. I think they're still the industry leader. They're going to be the industry leader because of their background. But as far as a secondary company that's doing really good things, has created a really great product. I think Snake Staff Systems, which is the brother company to Flux, is great. Flux is a great company. So, anyways, great day at range, guys. We're gonna swap over now. We're gonna jump into Jamie and Renee here. They're gonna come down here. Jamie's carrying all kinds of swag here from Delta Fuego. And so I'll kill y'all's mics so y'all can get in and get kind of comfy. We've got all kinds of other good things that we're going to talk about here. Sorry about the chaos. Look, we're just not going to be highly produced. You're going to get what you're going to get, and we're good with it. And so y'all get some headphones on there so that we can hear each other. And everything still looks good on the stream. Thank you guys that are here watching. We appreciate y'all. I can't see comments right now. I don't have it turned on. So if you're leaving comments, I appreciate you. I'm just, I don't have it near me. All right. Jamie and Renee. Renee, right?
Yes.
Welcome. Renee, Jamie, first, tell me about you. Who are you?
So I'm a USCCA certified firearms instructor.
Yes, you are.
I'm the assistant editor for Arm Lifestyle magazine.
That's true too.
Those are my fun, happy things. I get to come out here to ShotShow with you guys, and
Right.
we
babysit her.
You do.
Don't let her confuse you here
true.
with
It's
any
true.
other shit. We literally were on babysitting duty. The only reason we come back is to babysit her.
It's true. It's true.
Otherwise, she'd still be walking around range day, and we'd be like, "Where did Jamie go?" So that's rough.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the show. Renee, tell me about yourself.
Yeah. Hi, how are you? Thank you for inviting me here.
Absolutely. I'm glad you're here.
I'm from Guatemala.
Guatemala.
I'm a partner of Patrick Collins. I don't know if you've heard about it.
Right.
Everybody's heard of
Everybody knows who Patrick Collins is. That's right. That's right.
So, yeah. Delta Fuego is the company I'm working with him.
Okay. Awesome.
And I'm trying to convince him to go all the world. Invite
Everywhere.
everywhere.
I love that.
Yeah.
Tell me about Guatemala first. What I want to know everything you love about Guatemala.
Well, I was born there, so I love Guatemala. It's my house.
Right. It's your family. Yeah, that's home. What is it about when you come to the US and you visit, you go back home, and what is it that's like, oh man, I am so glad to be back here because of this reason? Like, what is that?
Well, first of all, the temperature or the environment or
Right. The
it's-
climate.
The climate.
Yeah.
Same all year. Maybe it varies from a couple of degrees, but
Yeah. No, Tennessee's like that. See, we had a 60-degree temperature swing the other day. It went from like 60 something to -4 degrees. Fucking America. Sorry, we're not allowed to say that word. I don't think. I hope YouTube doesn't ban us. Okay, so climate is a big one. Obviously, huge. What else is it about being in Guatemala that you just when you have to sell it to somebody? If I've never been to Guatemala, why would you tell me to come to Guatemala?
well, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but
I'll say it. Yeah, you can't say any worse than what Michael says, okay? So we're good.
so Costa Rica is publicity in Costa Rica is that everyone knows about Costa Rica.
Right.
You have rainforest, you have beaches, you have everything. Mm-hmm. But in Guatemala, you have the same but better.
Ah, okay. All right, I like that. The same but better. Okay, cool. Well, I know you've talked to him about Delta Fuego a little bit. I want y'all to kind of tell me about what Delta Fuego is, what the offerings are. I'm holding one of the mugs right now. This is a Delta Fuego mug. On the back of it right here, I know you probably can't see it from there, but it says Delta Fuego Coffee. Wake the F up. I'm going to try not to get banned off YouTube on our first live stream today. Wake the F up and then hashtag not woke. I love this. I'll be drinking whiskey out of this all week, and then I will give it back to Jamie, and she can take it home because she's claimed stake to all of them.
Yeah.
Which is bullshit because I feel like we deserve.
No, you build your relationship with Renee and Patrick and get your own
Okay,
damn swag.
no, that's fine.
You get
Okay,
your own
no,
swag.
that's all right. I'll work on that. Yeah, no, that's good. Go ahead. Y'all tell me about what Delta Fuego is, what you're offering, all those kind of things. Tell me everything.
Renee, you do it, and I'll Vanna White for you.
Okay, so Delta Fuego, it's a small business initiative
Okay.
from a retired disabled vet,
Okay.
which is Pat Collins.
Right. Which is Pat Collins.
He's a Green Beret. He's a paramedic. He's
Total
airborne. Everything.
Yeah, he is the diction. I hate using this phrase, but you're allowed to use it if you're talking about somebody else. Like he is the definition of an American hero.
Yeah.
Let's call it like it is.
Yeah, I mean, I
Right.
was telling Renee this is that if you conjure up in your mind what an American special forces guy should be, it's Pat Collins, right? So
That's right.
a Jersey boy, Irish Catholic. Dad was a fireman. Grandpa was, the fire battalion. Athlete, both baseball and football.
I mean, yeah, I want to date him. I get it. Yeah, I mean, all of us.
there's
Yeah,
also- I mean, but,
everybody. Yeah.
he played, professional baseball. He was a pro MMA fighter. Watched the towers fall. Couldn't enlist because he had a baseball contract at the time. So waited till his contract was up, and then enlisted at 33. Became a Green Beret at 34. Spent 8-9 years in. I mean, he's just he's the ultimate kind of badass. And when you talk to him, he's also like the nicest, kindest. I mean, like this is a guy who's just so gentle with his children and his wife. But he's gonna mess somebody up if they mess with
Right.
his stuff. And
Those are my
he's-
favorite kind of people.
Yeah, and he's found his home in Guatemala.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, the good thing he fell in love with one.
I bet. God, thank God. And he fell in love with you. You're still here and alive. So that's good news. Yeah. You didn't secretly disappear in the middle of the night. That's excellent news for you. Okay, so he's kind of come up with this whole brand with Delta Fuego, right?
Yeah.
And you've kind of worked with him through this process, come in to help on the distributor side, I'm guessing.
Well, I'm like a consultant for him.
I like it. Okay. You're the brains behind the brawn, is what I heard you say.
We're trying to bring this brand to the States.
Right.
We have coffee, we have cigars, but the main business. Let me show you the cigars.
and this is beautiful.
That is a fat cigar right there. That is
This is a small fat one.
yeah. It depends
likes a
on if
small
you're
fat
doing
one.
like mob stuff or if you're celebrating after a football game. Really a selection for both. That's excellent. Those are cool. We can't smoke them here because this is a non-smoking room, but we will be finding a smoking area here in the Venetian and lighting those up for sure.
Well, and then also, I mean, so there's the coffee and cigar piece, and obviously the very fun and cool swag. But this one talks about
Yeah.
69, which is your range.
Our
Let's talk
main
about
thing
that.
is training.
Right.
And, we have a training ground.
Okay.
We have Patrick Collins.
Yep, heard of them. Yeah.
So, what the idea is here to come to Guatemala, enjoy all the beautiful places we have, beaches, and then train with a professional.
Awesome.
A professional
Right.
Green Beret.
Right. That's a big deal.
So in this training ground we have lodging, we can do there's a waterfall that we can jump from it.
I'm down right now.
We have heli shooting, we have
Oh, cool. Moving to Guatemala
So-
pronto. Yeah.
The thing about Guatemala is that there's only 3 countries in the world that has constitutional carry.
Okay.
The United States, of course.
Right.
We have Mexico.
Yep.
We have Guatemala.
Oh, nice.
So we have our Second Amendment, but it's the 38 article, something like that. But
Okay, yeah. But it's the American version of the Second Amendment.
yeah, so
Nice. Okay, very cool.
only 3 countries in the world. So you can do what you can do here, but still visit another country.
Right. And that's big because hi, Devin. Sorry, Devin just texted me and said he's watching my YouTube video, so I figured I'd say hi. Again, squirrel moment. Hi, Devin. No, so this is a big deal because we talk about Patrick coming down and getting training in Guatemala. Number one, you're going to a cool place, which is a big deal. If you're going somewhere to train, you might as well go somewhere fun. Like I've trained all over the country, and I've gone to some fun places, and I've gone to some places like Missouri that are not fun. No one wants to go to Missouri. No one goes there on purpose. You take an accidental left turn and you end up in Missouri, or you're duck hunting. That's it. So to go somewhere cool is great, but to talk for a minute about the idea of getting good training. Listen, everybody in this room, I think, for the most part, almost all of us are trainers in some point. Like we have trained. Even the people that I train, I've been through some pretty crazy stuff, but I haven't been through Patrick Collins' crazy stuff. And when you start going, the more stuff you go through, the more you're going to be able to train in different ways. And it's not just in the physical aspect of firearms, right? It's not just being able to go out and pull the trigger or have your sight picture right. It's about the mindset that happens behind. And so when we talk about going to train with somebody, I highly advise, this is always one of the biggest things. Like, I'll help anybody any day learn how to shoot, go through your shooting technique, try to solidify some of that kind of stuff. Find somebody who has been to hell and back and learn from them. because that gives you a different level of training, period, end of story. They have seen things that hopefully you'll never have to see, but they'll be able to talk you through the mental side of that, because 99% of the time that the reason that people fail in any kind of shooting sport, or not shooting sport, but shooting self-defense, is the mental side of it. It's a mental block. You come in and somebody starts shooting at you, your reaction to anything is like you forget you had a gun. Right, and so we do this all the time with sim rounds and that kind of stuff, where we come in, and I've seen guys that are trained, we'll say, that have all but forgotten they have a gun when sim rounds start flying down range. So putting somebody there to train with that has been through it, that's a big deal. So you're getting to go to Guatemala, you're getting to train with someone who's been to hell and back, who knows how to not only use the firearm but also knows the mental state behind using a firearm.
So I think there's, we could talk about this, but there's more to it. Patrick is a paramedic. He's trained there, so there's a medical component to the training if you choose to do that. But there's also a VIP experience. So if people want to come, so Delta Fuego works with U.S. military and South American military, but also with civilians. So civilians, we can go do like an amazing VIP package. So you can go to Guatemala, you can go, run and gun in the jungle with Patrick and Renee and all this. And then you can hop on a helicopter and do a 10-minute ride to Antigua.
Okay.
Where you can do the whole 5-star experience.
So basically,
coffee, rum, cigars, sail fishing, golf. I mean, the whole, and it's much more reasonably priced than you could have here.
So we're refilming Rambo, basically.
Well, exactly.
Okay, because I'm in. This is the American dream. Put me through the jungle and put me on a helicopter, and I'm going to shoot shit.
Right. But then you go get to get your massage and hang out in Antigua and go sail fishing and amazing golf courses, and at a much more reasonable price than you could ever do any place else.
Okay.
It's just what he's put together, I think, is pretty amazing. I mean, it's a 69-acre range, I believe. Is that what the 69 is?
Is that where the 69 came from, or is that just your favorite number? Don't lie to me, Renee.
Well, it's bigger than a 69 acre.
Okay.
69 is just one range.
It's just the one range.
It's the one range. Yeah. Okay. I'm sure that wasn't selected on purpose at all.
First one, yeah.
No, that doesn't have high marketing value. No. Great. Okay. So obviously, y'all are working on getting your products out everywhere. Is there some place right now where the products can be purchased, or is this a teaser to come? First of all, before you tell me, let's look at this cigar box, because this is absolutely
really nice.
Stunning. Like, I'm going to fight JB for this later.
No, you just go be nice
Go
to
what?
Patrick and take care of him, and you'll get your own swag.
This is cool. It says Guatemala on the front of it. Everything is just some really cool details in this. That is a cool. Yeah, it's going to
really
look
nice.
great on my dresser.
No.
Thank you. First
Piss
of all,
off.
mind your business.
Piss off.
No one asked you. So, is there some place that people can go right now and order this, or is this to come in the future? Put my cigar box back.
Well, actually, coffee you can order online.
Okay.
Cigars is just.
Yeah, there's an
we're in
import
the-
issue
yeah,
there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
We're working on it.
Okay, but what I heard you say there was, if they come down for training, you're gonna smoke some.
course,
Oh
of course.
yeah, okay. So if you need the cigars, there it is. Go ahead and get your training, and then you can come down and smoke cigars with some of the coolest people in the world, or at least in Guatemala. I haven't met all the people yet, but
Well, yeah. Pat has a team
yeah.
also from Green Berets, and we have
Okay.
MI6 guy. And
Oh yeah.
So we have a big.
I've
team
seen
there,
them in the
man.
movies.
Yeah.
They seem super cool.
Also, we have.
do some
I don't
neat
know
stuff.
if you know him, but Dan Laguna is our.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is our helicopter pilot.
Of course he is. That makes sense. Yeah. That's cool. That's awesome. I want to come shoot out a helicopter. Shooting out of helicopters is one of the coolest experiences you can ever have. Riding in a helicopter, I highly advise you, if you've never been in a helicopter, like go to the closest big city and just jump on a helicopter tour. It's neat. It's one of my favorite. I fall asleep on transportation. I'm not gonna lie. So any public transportation or any form of transportation I get on, I immediately fall asleep. And so when I get on helicopters, like the rotor starts spinning, and that's that. Like I am passed out. You've got to like shake me violently to get me to wake up. I love helicopters. I sleep so good. But they're fun to play out of. I know, like in Texas and a lot of places, you can do the hog shooting where you're shooting out of helicopters. Do y'all have what is the hunting like in Guatemala?
Where there isn't a big hunting, mostly small game.
Okay.
ducks,
Good.
doves.
You didn't say Americans, so that's good. It's better than the rest of Mexico. Yeah, or all of Mexico. Yeah, that's great. That's what I want to make sure of. That it's safe. No, I think it's cool. Delta Fuego. Check. Do y'all have a website for Delta Fuego yet? Is it Delta?
DeltaFuego.com.
I could have guessed it. DeltaFuego.com. Make sure you check that out. Make sure you check out their products. Make sure you check out their training. And I can't stress it enough. To get to go somewhere cool and get to train with someone like Patrick Collins, that's a big deal. It's worth your money to invest in that. It's going to help you become a better shooter. Whether, you may not see you may think that you're a great shooter, you have the greatest technique or everything else. If you think that, then let me tell you right now, you are wrong. I'm going to go ahead and just call you out on that. You're not the greatest. But going to someone like Patrick is going to help you in so many more ways than what you'll ever understand. It's one of those things you'll walk away from and be like, yeah, that was worth every single penny.
Yeah.
And then you can buy all their stuff while you're there too, and you can have cool coffee mugs and cigar cases like I have when I leave ShotShow.
That's a life experience. I mean, I told Patrick, I said, I can land on a beach in Antigua anytime. There's only a certain limited amount of time that I can go, shoot up a helicopter or go run around the jungle with Green Berets
right.
and do that kind of stuff. And
So you have unlimited time to lay on the beach in Antigua, because I've never done that, so I can't.
You can't sit still that long. So
Well,
it's
okay,
all
that's
good,
fair.
But,
Yeah.
It's an amazing opportunity that I think is one of those experiences.
I agree.
That if you can, and it's much more reasonably priced than if you were to do it someplace else in the world. And actually, we're our Lifestyle magazine, our March issue will feature an article that I'm writing about
Amazing.
Patrick and Delta Fuego, and Renee will be a part of that as well.
So tell us tell those viewers out there, all three of them. I'm just kidding. There's 7. Calm
seven,
down.
right. 'Cause my
Tell them
family makes up
all.
3 of them.
Yeah, no, Grandma's one of them, and she's highly disappointed in the words that I've said. Go ahead and tell where they can catch up with ALM, because that's another big thing that you and Amy are both part of.
So, yep, Arm Lifestyle Magazine, armlifestylemagazine.com. Amy and I both, you'll see Amy here in a minute, we both write for that. Trampa Swanson is our editor. And we actually launched 2 years ago at ShotShow.
Nice.
Free digital publication. It's amazing. We do lots of different things. So the armed part of it is not just being armed with guns and ammo, but it's a lifestyle, right? So armed lifestyle.
Right.
So I'm arming myself with training, with fitness, with mental health,
Right.
with good friends, with faith, with family. I'm arming myself to have the best life I can have.
Right.
So we do a lot of things on those things, right? Mental health. We do a whole medical section. We talk about fitness. I'm kind of doing a spotlight on inspiring, interesting people, hence the Patrick Collins story.
Right.
We do a lot on
When are
supporting-
you doing the story on me? If you do interesting people,
we
I
have
feel
to wait
like,
till we can do a full centerfold spread.
Oh
for
no,
you.
that's fair.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
wear
so-
some risque stuff for that
Well, yeah,
picture.
that mankini that you pulled out the other day would be spectacular.
I think that's gonna be what we'll go with.
In a full
It's
3-page glossy format.
Oh,
I think our readers will absolutely love that.
I can't even concentrate anymore. No, this is good. All right, Renee, anything else that you want to tell us about Delta Fuego before we go? I know we've checked out the website, deltafuego.com.
Well, at the website, you can order all the packages you want.
Okay.
You want to go training, and actually follow us on Instagram, Facebook,
Do all the stuff that y'all know how to do. Yeah, go to all the socials and follow Delta Fuego. Throw them some support and love as they continue to grow. Renee, thank you for being on the show. I appreciate you taking time to come up to the Venetian suite here. It's always risky when you start to ask somebody you don't know to come to your suite at the Venetian. You don't know what kind of weird shit might actually happen. And with Michael here, it might get weirder. So, anyways, all right, let's go ahead and swap out. Let's bring in Amy and Curtis. Yes, I got it right. While one of y'all, when you come in, will you bring that bottle of Jack? I've run dry. Renee and Jamie, thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. All right. While we're waiting on them,
Renee took my drink.
I like that you're drinking out of a bougie, like a wine glass here. That's very fancy for what I know is Tito's.
I started here, but Renee had it in front of him, so I think he forgot about it.
There's just some headphones. You can hear us talk. Then you can hear yourself talk as well.
That'd be great.
All right, Curtis. Curtis, right? Or did I make that up?
No, that's right.
That's right. This is immediately my wife texted me. Oh, now Trampus said he's on the way. We're going to need to explain to Trampus what a live show is. It ends in 20 minutes. He won't be here in time. And I'm good with that. So immediately my wife texted me. Hang on, let me read the text. She's super disappointed in me, but that's normal. That's every day of my life.
This ought to be good.
Oh God, your voice is calming. That is Excellent.
How do you think I get him to do something?
You just talking that dirty voice to him. All right. My wife texted me and said, "You made a racist joke in less than 60 seconds. Good for you." So go me.
We'll do better next time.
We'll speed that up. Let's be very clear. I hate it. We live in a screwed up world these days, guys. Listen, I don't have time for racist bullshit. Period. End of story. Nobody in this room does. I don't have friends that do. That's not what we do. But we will joke with the permission. And I already asked for permission from the more baked version of the owner club from Creekside. And so it's good. My best friend is black. We're okay. So tell me, all right, Curtis, tell me about you. I want to know everything about you because literally the first time that I met you, and that's really a loose term for this, was when you sat down like 30 seconds ago. I saw you walk in my suite and got excited that we weren't all white. So it really helped, I feel like, bring in the diversity of our group. Tell me about you. Tell me about Creekside a little bit. I want to know everything.
Well, so I've known Mike for over 20 years now.
That's too long. that is too long. You should find different friends. Okay, go ahead. So you've known Mike for over 20 years.
Yeah, you're not the first. But anyway, we joined the Marine Corps almost about the same time.
Okay.
He got out and did the Creekside and other things. And
Right.
I'm still in currently, almost retired. So
Awesome.
that's what I'm working towards. And yeah, so, but we do Creekside. I'm a USCCA certified instructor now.
Awesome.
And yeah.
I love it. And I'm assuming Amy needs something.
No,
You need more alcohol? You need more Tito's?
no, they want to know where the room key is.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Where's the room key?
It's up there on the table.
It's up there on the table.
If not, check that coach bag.
We might go a little bit longer on this podcast because Trampus, the editor-in-chief, I guess, is that right, of ALM, of Arm Lifestyle Magazine, earlier said he was too busy, but now he's probably saw how great our live show is, and he's like, I want to be a part of it. So he's on his way up. Oh, he's not coming now. Okay, he just texted me and said he's on his way up. No? Change his mind? Okay. Trampus, we love you. Sorry you couldn't be here. I will talk crap all day long. Trampus and I have been good friends for a long time. Love Trampus, love ALL Magazine. Okay, come back to Amy. Amy, tell me about you, who you are. Tell those people that don't have any idea who you are.
Hey everybody, I am Amy Lucas. I am the owner of Steel and Stilettos Firearm Training, and I'm also a writer for the Arm Lifestyle Magazine.
I love it. Tell me about Steel and Stilettos. Now, what I love is that both of you are training. Where are you based out of for Creekside?
Clayton, Michigan, Adrian, Michigan.
Okay, and you're out of?
I'm out of Metro Detroit area.
So how
Michigan.
far away from each other are y'all?
It's an hour.
So you're competitors. So obviously,
Nope.
No,
No, we're
let's
not.
talk about the competition side of this. No, okay. So I think y'all probably have a different line of customers coming into each of you. Let's start with you, Amy. Let's talk about Steel and Stilettos. Why Steel and Stilettos? What is it that brought you into this? How did you get into Steel and Stilettos?
I got into firearms training when I was very young. I started in the Michigan Department of Corrections when I was 20 years old. And that kind of really quickly, at the age of 20, realized how the importance of training. I became a firearms instructor for the state of Michigan.
Okay.
I did all the qualifications and, did the firearms training.
Right.
Shotgun, handgun, rifle. So over the years, just becoming a trainer, I just really developed such a passion for teaching and empowering other people. And a lot of the officers that I trained were probably like 70% of them were females because I worked in a maximum security prison for women.
Oh,
so then
that
I got
makes
to
sense.
know all the different kinks and like all the different things that happens with women and shooting and
Right.
the hand size, all that,
Right.
just. But when I retired, I was just like, I got all this information. I need to keep sharing it. So that's why I opened up the business in 2020.
I love it.
Yeah.
And Jamie works with you, obviously.
Yep.
Y'all do a lot of work. Like I follow you as best as I can on social media,
Uh-huh.
and it seems like y'all are always going. You're always busy. You've
I am.
always got people. That's great.
I am. I'm trying to make sure that I get to everybody.
Yeah.
They need to know.
I love it.
I got some information. I want to share
Right,
it.
I want to share it with
I
everybody.
want to share it with you.
So, Curtis, tell me what is it that really, when you look at firearms training, like what is it that makes you come back to it daily? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what pushes you every day to come back in and honestly deal with people that don't know a lot, or maybe that don't know as much as you, or maybe they know nothing. Like, what is that?
So for me, it's kind of, I do want to share that information,
Right.
But also allowed me to work on something that I absolutely hate doing, like being in front of a camera.
Okay, so you hate being in front of a camera. I'm here to help you with that today.
And I appreciate it.
Okay, good.
But no, it's great because, okay, we work with firearms. Firearms are dangerous tools.
That's right.
But they are tools.
Exactly.
You know, you don't expect a carpenter that has no training to just go out and do something amazing with whatever the tools that he
Even with the best tools.
right. The best tools don't matter if you don't know how to use them.
That's right. And I've seen that. I see that so much on the range with any of the training that I've done or the training that I go through where people show up and, you know, they have the top of the line equipment. They have the top of the line gear. They walk in and they look like they just walked out of the most recent special ops TV show there is. Which is the thing, right? Everybody wants to look like they're Jason from SEAL Team 6. That's how they walk into everything because they've watched it and they think they're now a SEAL team member. And I
try not to laugh.
right, as we all do. But, you know, they come in and it's hard to break stereotypes. And let's talk about that for a second because I know as a trainer, one of the big things that you have to do is there's a fair amount, especially when you get someone that we know is new, even though maybe they say they're not. Right. There's a fair amount of untraining that has to happen.
Yeah, that's always it's always an issue when we have to address it,
right?
Breaking the bad habits.
Yeah, breaking the bad habits.
Right. Yeah. And my approach is different than others.
Okay.
But I like to
you fight them one-on-one, right?
No, that's his.
Oh, that's how Michael does. Okay,
he's
perfect.
like, no, just stop. You're stupid. Just do what I told you.
Right. Pulls his knife out, and that's that. Yeah. Kershaw's him. Yeah.
My approach is not as effective either because I'm like, so if you do this, does that feel better or does basically I make them feel bad about being wrong? Right.
I like that. No, I like that. That's a good mental hit right there. Yeah. Because you're right. That's if you're coming in and you already have that premise ahead of time, that means that you were so concerned about how you look and how you're performing more than how you want to learn. Right. So I think you're dead on. That's interesting because I've never heard it said like that before, but
I haven't either.
That's cool.
That's awesome
because you make them feel bad about themselves. And I know that sounds ugly. Look, if you're watching and you are someone who is that person, you're like, oh, I own 511's vest, and I've got plates in there, and I've got carriers, and I've got everything else, but you've never done anything with them other than they hang on your wall. Other than, of course, you pull them out to take an Instagram picture. Like, you've got to do that once every 6 months. But, like, there's no reason to be that person. I'm going to call you out for who you are. But I do think if we look at the gun industry as a whole, I don't know until recently, and I know there's several people in here that would speak to this maybe differently or maybe not, but I feel like we haven't done a great job of embracing from a broad perspective. You know what I mean? We've been very inclusive in like, oh, we know how to shoot, you don't. And so we haven't been inclusive. That's not an excuse. That's not an excuse for anybody that's out there that wants to take on that mentality of like, I'm the best, right? And that's not okay. Firearms training is just like anything else. It's like business training. And it's interesting because one of the things that I learned very early that someone told me was don't take financial advice from someone that has less money than you. And that's a fair point. In firearms training, don't take firearms advice for someone that has less firearms training or experience than you do. But not only that, it's the humbleness that goes into it. And I feel like as an industry, we're finally coming around to this. I think we finally realized that from a broad general view in the public recently, that we've kind of been douchebags.
Oh, absolutely. We've been talking about it for a few months. Because we're hoping to get individuals talking so that we can start saying, hey, this training, we can start meshing and whatnot. But what I found out is that some individuals just are dead set on they're the only one that can be right, and their mindset's the only right one.
Right.
And it's like...
I'm going to let y'all two talk about this. Y'all keep talking about this. I'll be right back.
Okay. But there's a couple of different avenues that, yes, somebody might be right in this certain mindset, this particular situation, but it may not apply to other situations.
That's correct. Yeah. There's just a way to approach those kind of people that feel like they know everything, and I think I have kind of that way of just being able to make them feeling like, yeah, yeah, I can appreciate what you've learned, but let me teach you another way. And that's, I think, what is the most important is just making sure they're leaving a little better than they came, and breaking some of those bad habits and
Yeah.
even that mentality, right?
Yeah, but of course, it's always difficult to break a bad habit.
Oh, it is. It is.
Or-
I've got all kinds of bad
or-
habits.
or
I'm trying to
bad
break.
mindsets.
Not with firearms, but I've got some bad habits, and they are so hard to break.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm so sorry, guys. My my alarm was going off at home, and it's because the steam from the kids' bath set it off, and I was trying to keep the fire department from showing up. Because that's embarrassing because I work for the fire department, but for the county fire department, and if the city has to come to my house while I'm live on TV, it's gonna look, or YouTube, it's gonna look bad. I missed all of that, but I feel like I agree with 100% of it.
You
Is
should.
that fair? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
That's
Cool.
fair.
Yeah. No. It's just I think we are finally coming to a point now to where, and you may have already said this, so I apologize, but I feel like we're finally coming to a point now where we realize we need to have some inclusion within the industry. Period. It's so funny.
Not DEI. That's
Right.
not the kind of inclusion we're talking about. That crap.
That's
I'll
different.
Throw that out the
That
freaking
is
window.
different.
I
It's-
absolutely hate it.
So what's funny is we talk. The country. I don't want to get heavy into politics. I almost killed Amy. I don't want to get heavy into politics. Or actually, I will. I don't care. But as we look back a couple of years, we really saw the country go through some shifts. Right? We saw a
Yeah.
lot of different communities popping up, and it was interesting. And I've got no hate. Look, I am good for you being whoever you want to be in life. I support that 3,000%, as long as that's not forced on me or my kids.
Right.
It's as simple as that. I'm not going to force myself on you or your kids. I don't want to do that. Vice versa. And so I'm just going to live my life and go home at the end of the day. That's my purpose in life. So, what was interesting, I put out a post and I was like, hey, look, I know right now there's a lot of talk of a lot of different things happening in the country all across the board. People not feeling included, people feeling included, people not knowing if they like guns, people liking guns, all this stuff. Put this out there right now that if you are someone who feels like you don't know firearms, but you want to know a little bit more about them, maybe you want to know how to shoot them, maybe you just want to have a basic understanding of them. Because we went through a time in this country, we still are, but where a lot of people wanted to speak openly about firearms that had no idea what they were talking about firearms. Our president is one example of that, okay? I don't want to go into detail there, but he's a moron. And so, can I say that on YouTube? I don't care.
It doesn't pay you. So.
Okay. But we talk. I put a post on. I was like, if you want to know this, let me know, and I'll go out personally with you. We'll go out to the field. We'll go out to we have a couple of 100 acres in Tennessee. You and I will go out as a one-on-one person, and I will walk you through these systems, what they are. So at least if you're going to bad talk us, you can use the right terminology, right? Okay. So let's at least set you up for success here. If you're gonna shit talk our industry, and so we went out and I had several people reach out to me that I would have had no idea that had any interest whatsoever in firearms. And that was a click moment for me of like, ooh, where they are at in their lives, they should have felt like they could have come to me at any other time before this. And I think that was an eye opener because like, ooh, I need to realize that not everybody that comes through that's going to shoot a firearm is going to have a big beard. I mean, Amy doesn't have a beard. That's one of my favorite things about Amy is that she doesn't have a beard. But you know what I mean? Like there's not one type of person that shoots firearms.
Right.
And that's why I love what you're doing with Stills and Stilettos, because I feel like you're reaching an audience of like, hey, females, ladies, it's okay to own a firearm and to know how to use it.
Absolutely.
Because how long have we seen, I worked in a gun store doing marketing, but aside from that, I was also at the front desk quite a bit. And at the front desk, how many times did I see ladies come in and be like, oh, I want to buy a revolver because I want to carry something. Cool. Have you done any training? No. Are you going to do any training? No. Ooh, okay. But they want to feel that sense of security, right?
Yeah.
But I don't blame them. At that time, and even in some now, like, that's intimidating. It has to be intimidating for a lady to go into a training where you've got 8 or 9 big burly bearded guys. that can't be fun. I don't know what it's like to be a girl. I act like one sometimes, but other than that, I've got no clue. But that's a turnoff, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that you're combating every day with your business.
Yeah, I definitely have a 90. I'd say well over 90% of my students are females. And I absolutely welcome the men in my class because it does offer a little bit of different questions and different, views. But yeah, I absolutely love all the different walks of life that come into my life. And you know what I'm hoping is that a lot of these women aren't coming because something happened to
Right.
them or another friend, and that's typically what I've been seeing.
Is that what pushes them in?
Yeah, or maybe they're just watching the news and it's something very local, or it's the next door neighbor or
Right.
something like that. So I think people are starting to really just realize, God, I got to be.
You gotta be ready.
I got to be ready, and
That's it.
and then I got to defend my life, and then my loved ones or my kids or
Right.
whatever. So, yeah, there's a huge market out there for women. I'm trying to reach them all.
I love that. No, I love it because it's one of the my wife, my beautiful smoking hot wife at home,
She is
mother to my
hot.
3 kids. God love her. She's at home with them alone this week. I don't know if she's watching, but I hope so because I'm really looking for the brownie points. No,
You're gonna need them.
Yeah,
A week away.
I know. Yeah, I am. Look, I've been gone.
Week away.
I've been on the road filming for a show called The Foul Life, which is on the Outdoor Channel. We've been filming since September. I've been gone from September till 4 days before Christmas. So yeah, I need all the brownie points I can
Yeah.
get.
You better cook some meals.
I'm
when you get-
bro. Yes, you get it. No, but she's a realtor. It's one of my big fears. I mean, good
absolutely.
Lord, you talk about, and I know you.
Yes, I developed
I was
a
gonna
program.
say,
Yeah, she hit the. I loved when you came out with that, and I actually talked to my wife about what that looks like within her company that she works for. Realtor world is scary. Like if we strip everything back for a second and we talk about realtors, my wife meets people at a house that she doesn't know and walks in with them into a CQB course. Let's call it what
Right,
it is. All right.
right.
Yeah, it's a scary moment. She's close to them, closer than I want her to be. Like it's a fiasco.
Yeah.
Tell me about that course.
Well, I developed it originally because one of my first classrooms that was offered to me was a lady that owned Moving the Mitten, and she was a real estate broker. She owned the agency, and she saw a need for me to have a class, and
Okay.
and so I used her classroom, and then every weekend I was holding classes, and she was putting her realtors through my class for a concealed pistol license class. And so then I realized, oh my gosh, like you guys need a lot more
Right.
information than just how to shoot this firearm. Let's talk about how to get into this home and to set yourself up to be more safe.
Right.
And do you have a plan? Do you have an emergency plan? What is the plan within the company?
Right.
So since then, I've developed a real estate safety and awareness program, and it's really been taking off because realtors are just looking for ways to just be more safe. Like give me the secret sauce, man.
That's it.
Like what is it? What
That's
do I
it.
do?
Well, and we've seen some scary stuff happen in the realtor world. Mm-hmm. And so I think, as much as I hate that that's happened, the awareness that has come from it, there's bad things that happen all the time. It's whether or not you pick up on the awareness side of that and do something with it
Right.
that makes it worth it. And I know that sounds bad. I don't mean that bad towards the people, but you know what I mean? If they go through that situation and you don't do anything, then they went through that situation for nothing. If they go through that situation and we take that and we say, okay, let's tailor something to really get in and make sure this doesn't happen again, then at least they went through that for a cause.
Exactly.
And I love that. I love
Yeah.
when I saw your real estate class come out. That was a big deal because that is a big, honestly, untapped market. We won't get into the marketing brilliant side of it, but like that's a big untapped market in the firearm sector.
Absolutely.
Because I've been guilty of telling my wife's friends like, hey, you need to get a gun. Get a gun, 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 get a gun. Go get a Glock. 43X is for you, right? But there's no follow up to like, okay, I've got the gun, now what?
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Again, like we'll go back to what you said earlier. You can have the best tools in the world, but if you don't know how to use them, it doesn't matter.
That's right.
And so
Or how to avoid it to begin with.
I love that. How to avoid it to begin with, and I keep going back. This is a big thing we teach when I teach is the mental side of it. Is are you ready to pull the trigger? Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the big things that is so rarely talked about in a lot, or previously has been so rarely talked about in a lot of different training scenarios. Is we teach people how to pull the trigger, but do we teach people what that feels like when you pull the trigger and there's a human on the other side?
Absolutely. Right.
Because that's a different ball game. There's some stuff that you have to swallow. There's some stuff that you have to face there, and some demons that you're never going to be able to let go of.
Yeah.
Especially for someone who didn't sign up for it. It's one thing if you sign up, you joined the Marines. You knew you were going to go through some shit, right? Like that.
It was expected.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it. You knew what you signed up for. But my beautiful realtor wife more brownie points. But like, she didn't sign up to go out to have to shoot somebody in a house
No.
if the need arises, and she's not going to handle that well. Like on the back end of that,
Right, because in the moment, you think as a parent,
Right.
you would definitely want to protect those that you love, but
Right.
then the after effects that you're going to have to face.
Right. That's a big deal that I wish more trainers talked about that, what that looks like from a mental side. What are some of the biggest, obviously y'all work in kind of different demographics a little bit. When you see people come through Creekside, who are you seeing coming through Creekside? What does your demographic look like there? Is it across the board? Do you deal with a lot of advanced? Is it a lot of new?
It's across the board.
Is it?
After there was an incident in the town that we're based in.
Okay.
So we did have a huge influx of people at that time.
Right.
What year was that?
A couple years ago, like 4.
About 2 years
Oh,
ago. There was an incident where a lady had taken our class and she was able to stop the assailant that was doing harm to those in the community.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great marketing tool for you. Good job. But also a great look. We're going to look at everything from a marketing standpoint first because and here's why I'm big on that. Hang on, I got to make sure that the fire department again doesn't show up.
That's okay.
I apologize, guys. This is what happens when you're on live. This is why they won't let me be on live TV. I can only have a YouTube. So the reason I said on marketing first, and you'll hear me talk about it all the time on my show, is because, and it's kind of just what I said, is something bad happens. I believe in marketing that and trying to find a way to make sure it doesn't happen again to somebody else. Period. That's why. It's not because I want something bad to happen. And it's not because I want somebody else to make money from it. I'm great if they do. Look, it's the American dream. We all go out. We all find these jobs that we love. But really what I want to happen from that is for that situation, for someone else to not have to face that. I won't, and I take it very personally. I look at it as my wife. Like, I want my wife to not have to face that. I want my kids to not have to go through that. I want my sister to not have to face that. Like, you know what I mean? So I look at all those as very personal, and that's why you'll always hear me say marketing first, that kind of thing. So with that pushing in, the influx that you saw, obviously a lot of new shooters coming in, what was the biggest struggle that you struggled with? Was there a biggest struggle?
Well, I actually wasn't around for that.
Oh, okay.
I know of it.
Okay.
When you bring Mike back,
I'll ask him.
Yes,
Well, I'm going to ask
absolutely.
him a lot of other really weird questions anyway, so that's perfect. I've got just a lot.
Well, I can tell you, I use Creekside for my range, and
Yeah.
and I have classes at his range, and I've seen I have probably like 5 or 6 locations that I steadily have classes at, and I can promise you that Adrian is one of my most prominent areas where I get the most people that are interested
Okay.
in the most
I love that.
signups.
That's
And
good.
it's something that's just about the community of Adrian, and I don't know what it is, but that's why I keep coming back.
Yeah.
There's obviously a need and a want.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love it. Here's the deal, and I will preach this. I just preached it. I'm going to preach it again. If you can take a bad situation and find a way to turn it into good for something else, I'm 100% for it. And especially if you have that person giving their permission. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Especially
yeah.
if they're like, yeah, take this and do good from it. So I love that you're doing it. We're gonna bring Whit and Michael back in here in just a second. Tell me first, to anybody that's watching out there that's a firearms owner, shooter, any piece of advice you have for them. I know this is a big one, but any piece of advice you'd have for a firearms owner that's just an everyday. Okay, we're not talking about a Marine. We're not talking about a Leo. We're not talking about any of that. We're talking about the everyday guy that goes to work at the factory every day, comes back home, like whatever it is. What is your biggest advice for them?
That would be practice.
Okay,
Right.
he stole your answer, didn't she? You can't use her answer. You got to come up with another one now.
That's why I was like, I got it first.
Yeah.
Training, just more training, repetitive. That way you're developing those good muscle memory skills. A lot
Right.
of people leave class and then they don't come back to the range for,
Right.
if ever, or maybe a year down the road or 2 years. And next thing you know, they're going to have to retrain.
That's right.
So they lose it all.
That's right.
So I just think practice makes, not perfect, but we're going to get you a lot better.
You're never going to be perfect.
Right.
Is that fair? I mean, can we all agree on that? You're
Yeah.
never going to be the best shooter in the room. Let's hope you're not. It doesn't mean that you won't be, but if you go in with that attitude, you're going to learn a lot more.
I'm gonna
So
try.
that's right. So always try to go in that way. The one thing I would say to that is that's my personal advice. I know I asked y'all, but I'm going to answer. But is to that, it's not just training with a trainer. I love training with a trainer. Don't get me wrong. That is one of my favorite things in the world. Please find a company find multiple companies near you. There's not one person that's going to train to your specific style. You're going to learn something different from everybody else. But more than that, get repetition in at the range, or if you have a buddy's farm you can go to and shoot. Like, get repetition in for the things that you learn, because that's the biggest thing I always with the company that I trained with some of the people that I work with. That's one of the biggest kind of failures that I see at the end of it, to be honest, is they go and they learn how to do this and then they don't go shoot.
Right.
Yeah.
Please take what I learned and take 200 rounds. Go spend a little bit of money and go out somewhere and just do that repetitiously. Repetitiously? I think
Yeah.
I made that word up.
No,
Okay,
it's all
cool.
good.
Okay,
That's
good.
a word.
But now it is. But like,
I got your back.
yeah, thank you. God, that's why you're my favorite from Creekside. But do that just over and over and over, because that's how you're going to put into practice. You can't go to training, and I would assume both of you can speak to this, but you can't go to training and walk away with the perfection of skills that you learned.
Right.
I mean, the training is, like you said, it's the introduction.
Right.
And you're not going to remember it, especially when your body's being flooded with all the stress hormones of something that goes with a shooting.
Right.
So, so like you said, practice and train, but also know what type of training you're doing.
Right.
Because sure, if you're going out there doing the marksmanship type training, it's going to be a little bit different when somebody is possibly shooting back at you.
You're not always going to be able to be in a perfect stance.
Exactly.
That's my biggest preach when I teach people, is like, they come in like, well, are we supposed to stand like this? I was like, are you going to stop this robbery so you can get your perfect stance?
Right.
That's not going to happen. You're going to be pulling from the hip. You're going to be moving fast. You're probably going to be trying to find some kind of cover or concealment. Like, you're trying to make a lot happen.
Or family members around you that you want to make sure are safe.
That's right. I've got 3 little ones. I mean, that's the big thing. We that's scary.
Yeah. Your
It's
main concern is going to be them, even though there's bad guys out there.
Yeah, that's it. I think one of the classes that I taught, this was a while ago, but we were talking about training within the home if someone were to break in, and one of the things that people don't think about is like, where are my kids' bedrooms?
Right.
Most houses, especially built in the 60s to 70s, feature a master bedroom with a hallway where all your other bedrooms are off of.
Right.
So if that person comes down that hallway, all of a sudden now you have an egress point from every bedroom for all of your children who don't know what's going on, who are curious as shit, and they're probably going to come out like, oh, is there a Nerf gun fight? I'm in.
They see a light go off. And
Yeah.
they're like,
And
no,
so
go
they're going
back
to
to
open
bed.
the door and run through it. So, like, what does that do? How does that affect your plan? So, yeah, exactly. Guys, thank y'all so much for coming and talking. Y'all going to be here all week, so I'm probably going
Yes.
to draw you in some more. I hope you're cool with that. I know you didn't get to go to range day. We're trying to work out your ShotShow stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of a last minute thing for me, but it's an awesome opportunity.
Hopefully we can make that work. So we'll be talking more about that. I know you're here with range, so we'll be talking more about range day this week.
Yeah,
so
great.
thank y'all for being here. Tell me individually, I'll start with you, Amy. Tell me about your company and how to find that online and all the socials and that kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, you can add me on Facebook, Amy Lucas, or I have a business page of Steel in Stilettos, or you can go on steelandstilettostraining.com, Instagram, Steel in Stilettos.
And Creekside Consultants LLC, we have a Facebook page.
Love it. Sweet. Thank y'all so much. I'm going to trade y'all out now.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jamie, you want to come in? No? Okay, no, she said no. Okay, cool. Real quick, we're going to wrap this up in about 5 or 10 minutes here with Wit, and I've given them ample time to drink Coors Light and what are you drinking? Crown. Yeah, Crown. I'm a Jack fan. Obviously, my Jack guys know. We got to film with. I'm going to tell you something. Real quick, while you are sitting down, we got to film this past season. Let's see, we were in Canada, so this would have been November. We're filming with Chad Belding in the Foul Life, which is the show I was filming for the Outdoor Channel. And one of his big sponsors is Jack Daniels, so he had all of his Jack Daniels people out. Those are some of the best dudes I've ever met in my life. I will drink Jack forever because of the guys that were there, specifically Casey. He's probably not watching this. He's way too big to be watching this show, which is fine. But he number one, he was the best on-camera person I've ever had. But number two, just hanging out with him was cool. But his man, the way they, if you ever get a chance, have you ever been to the Jack Daniels distillery?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've been. You know, it is a different world there.
Yeah.
They've got everything that is their own. They got their own fire department. They've got their own
Right.
everything. It's a cool facility. Look, I'm not paid by Jack, although I would be. If you send me Jack, I will talk more good about Jack.
200%.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I'll stop drinking Crown right now. so-
Right now, he
Yeah.
said.
I love Jack.
Casey.
I'm not even allowed to drink whiskey, but you send us money, I will drink whiskey.
Yeah.
On film.
I got this.
Perfect.
Yes, I will do
I'll do it
this.
on film.
Perfect. No, I
Okay.
love this. This is
All the
good.
time.
We're setting this up perfect. All right, guys. So let's wrap this up. We've been live for an hour and 22 minutes on a 1 hour show. So I think
Sure.
we've really killed it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the rest of ShotShow. Today was Range Day. If you've never been, ShotShow Show is essentially 4 days long with what's called Industry Day at the Range on day one, which was today. So starting tomorrow, there will be, I don't know how many, 40,000, 30,000, 10,000, 5,000, I don't know, a whole bunch of vendors on the floor.
Lots.
Lots of, in fact, so many vendors that typically
see
we don't
them
get
all.
to see them all.
No.
That's right. So complete chaos. So over the next 4 days, we'll be covering different products on the floor. We've got a full team. Chris Greasy is out. He's not here tonight, but he's on our team. He'll be looking into the law enforcement tactical world, kind of in the secondary ballrooms. Whit and I will be on 1 and 2. I know the rest of our team here is going to kind of be all over the place. So we're going to be trying to find the best products to bring to you. But as we look at ShotShow, Show, I want to know, what are you guys looking for? What are you hoping to find? What is it that you may have already seen that you're excited about? What does that look like for y'all?
The wow factor. I mean, it's pretty cut and clean, simple. It's just like, boom, what is that?
Right.
Like,
Do you feel like you've seen anything so far as teasers that you're excited about?
I've tried to look for teasers,
And you
I
haven't found
found
them.
zero.
I think
Yeah.
you're looking on the wrong websites.
No,
Yeah, that's
no.
a different.
I'm pretty sure.
Which
they're-
ones
Yeah.
are you? Do they start with X?
Those are.
No, the ones that start with that end with net, you're on the wrong.
Oh,
one.
okay.
Oh,
my bad.
that's-
my
that
bad.
makes
Okay.
sense. Yeah.
That's just not working.
Still the highlight for me is that can, the 3D printed
Yeah.
can. That's still cool.
I think
I want to
that's gonna be
know
hard to
more
beat.
about it.
I think it is going to be hard to beat. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I do want to see Browning's new technology, see what they're putting in. I want to see Savage. Here's the deal. I'm a Savage fanboy.
Yeah.
I will admit to that. I run almost exclusively Savage products for the most part. Every year they come out with something, whether or not it catches or not, they're at least like, let's try this. Like last year, it was a little 6.5 Creedmoor handgun.
But it hit.
It hit.
It hit.
It hit. I don't see a lot of people shooting it. That's fine. But at least they tried something. I feel like I credit Savage for that every year. They're like, you know what? Let's throw shit at the wall and see what
Yeah.
sticks.
I've noticed that. You notice that anytime that every single year, whenever anything's released, Savage is always one of the first ones that will sit there and throw something out there.
That's right.
The 400 blackout.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, who's even see that coming? It's like, oh, hey, guess what?
Right.
There's a 400 blackout now.
I think that's yeah. I don't know. I don't know who's getting that. The one thing I would like to see is, and we'll see when we get to the booth tomorrow. But Keltec, we've talked about this a little bit today. Huge Keltec fan. I want to see what they're continuing to bring to the table. I feel like for the past couple of years, and I don't mean this ugly. Please know, I've got no intention to bad talk anybody on this show ever. If I want to bad talk you, you'll know. Caltech, but for the past couple of years, I feel like I haven't seen anything that's been like, oh man, I've got to have that. I've got to bring that home. I'd like to see them bring something to the table again because for so many years they were like, let's do something cool.
Like
Let's
the KSG.
Yeah,
right.
KSG,
KSG,
God.
the 5.7.
Right.
It was back to back.
Now it's like wall.
Right.
Hit, done. Not
Right.
moving.
Did we run out of ideas?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'd like to see them bring something to the table. One company that's always been interesting to me is Chris. I feel like Chris has always been on the verge of being like, oh, let's do something cool, but they've never been able to just like break that. So I would like to see them break that.
It's like
I
a
don't know.
tease.
There.
It's a constant tease.
That's it. There's going to be several constants that I'll love that I'm excited about seeing new products from. You know what's funny? You get on SHOT Show, and anybody that's been to SHOT Show will tell you you've got multiple floors, multiple areas. One of my favorite floors or areas is the first floor of the main ballroom. That's where a lot of your like I'd say medium-sized companies, right? And even some larger ones, even some big companies. But that's where they're coming in, and that's where you find a lot of good stuff, like Mag Storage Solutions, one of my favorite companies in the world. Patrick over there has always been a huge fan of him. He's always taken good care of us. But they just make storage for magazines. Like it's cool. Like last year we did a magazine dispenser they had.
Yeah, the
Which-
magnet one.
You're
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
which was
man,
cool.
that's-
Like
yeah.
I run their stuff all over our gun room. I absolutely love what they've done, and it's not an overly complex product. They just done it, and they've done it well.
Just stick it on the fridge.
That's it.
They found a market and they
They went
took-
after it.
Yeah,
I'm
they-
hoping Timber Creek has something cool this year.
Pete-
I have faith.
I under talked about company is Timber
Dude,
Creek.
We talked about that earlier.
We did.
So
we
cool,
talked
man.
about that earlier. When we were walking around inside that little area of
I
weirdness.
think like last year they had a 3,000 square foot pad, and it was just so cool.
Their
man.
I know you haven't seen it because it's been a couple of years. They have a really cool setup, and the thing is, they're not innovative. And I know, again, not ugly. They're not innovative, but they are making cool products. They're taking
Yeah.
what we already have, and they're making some cool products for it.
Like the
Yeah.
majority is like skeletonized, like anodized product, and it's really cool.
They've just done a good job with it. You
Yeah.
know, they've
Yeah.
done a good job marketing. Phoenix flashlights, one of my favorite
Yes.
flashlights
Yeah.
in the world. I know everybody loves Streamlight, whatever. But Phoenix has been. Look, I've got one. Oh, it's not here. It's sitting
Still a
up sitting up
Surefire
there.
guy.
You'll get over it. But like my
Phoenix
Phoenix,
is cool, man.
Phoenix is cool. I've run my Phoenix that I have now for 6 years, 5 or every year I take it to the booth. They're like, holy shit, you
Dude,
still
it looks,
have this.
It looks beat up.
I have literally,
works.
I've run it through probably a half a dozen or more Swiftwater out of like in Florida, Alabama, Texas, Louisiana, through several missions there. Last New Year's, went out. We had a car that flipped over in a creek, went out, worked that, had a victim in, got victim out, was working down in this creek. It was 4 foot deep or so cold. My light fell out of my pocket. I found it like 3 hours later because they turned the car over, and when they turned the car back over again, it popped out, and I saw the light cut on it. It was still working underwater.
It's pretty impressive.
I'm going to tell you, it's been through fires with me. It's been through Swiftwater with me. I love Phoenix. They do always bring a new product in, so excited about that. There was rumors that Glock might have something new. I didn't see anything today at the booth.
That was
I saw
totally
nothing.
disappointing.
Yeah,
It was all.
We did get patches.
we did get
Yes,
patches.
Yeah, we got patches.
Yeah,
The guy
so
was a
that's
little
great.
nervous
But
about
all-
letting us
all-
in to get the patches.
He
was
didn't
like-
want to.
like, what are you
It's like
guys
you had
doing?
to go shoot a Glock
Yeah.
first before. I was like, bro, I've been shooting Glocks. I'm carrying a Glock.
Yeah, like
Why?
We don't need to do that. Just
We
give us
don't-
our patch and
right.
let us go.
Right,
There's
that's
no
it.
new gun.
That's it. So I think overall, as always, what we're always looking for at SHOT Show, we're looking for innovation. We're looking for something new.
Yeah.
Guys, we will be doing this every day, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, coming to you, showing you different live things that we've seen around the floor throughout the day. I would like to say the show will get better, but honestly, we're just going to drink more Jack as the week goes on. So there's
I
no
don't know.
problem.
We should
thought,
drink
I
prior.
thought this show literally was pretty legit.
This might be
Yeah.
the highlight
It is.
of our week.
This is going to be the shit show #1 show.
I agreed.
Seriously, make sure you subscribe to our channel. We will be bringing you several product videos throughout the day, and then every day we'll be doing a live recap where we'll kind of talk through some of that, show you what we found on the floor, and talk through some other cool stuff. It was fun today getting to hear from Renee about their new products here with the Delta Fuego. Is my phone? It's
What does that one say?
Delta? Oh, this one says.
No, what does this one say?
I can't read that one
Oh,
on YouTube.
okay.
I don't think you
Okay.
can't
I can.
either.
I can.
He can.
Okay, what does that one say?
Yeah, I ain't reading that shit. Nah, I ain't reading that shit.
No, but get you one and you'll read it.
This is the best cup. You should get it.
So make sure you check out DeltaFuego.com. Make sure you check out True Southern TV. Check us out on all the social media channels. Every company we have here, please support them. Look, we're not in here bringing in we're not bringing Jack Daniels in, right? Every one of us is working every single day to make our living.
Yeah.
So your support goes way further than what you even realize. So just a simple follow goes a long way. So make sure you're following us. So we got Delta Fuego, we got True Southern TV, we've got Creekside. So make sure you give them a follow.
Consulting.
We've also got Armed Lifestyle Magazine, and then we've got
Steel and
Stills and Stilettos.
Stilettos.
That's right.
We all do this because we want to help the general public.
That's what
Yep.
people don't
Yep.
understand.
I mean,
yeah.
and that's exactly it. Like we're here.
It's a giver's gain.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're all doing this outside of our regular jobs.
Right.
Like and it's enjoyable.
It is.
But it's why we.
It's why we do it.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
have
exactly
to
why
do
we
this.
it.
I don't have to
No.
come to SHOT Show.
No.
Like, we film. We are a production company.
Yep.
That is at base what we are. I know Whit does some of the greatest body work on earth back in Tennessee. And so
That's what he said.
That's what he said. Again, a different video for a different day, boys and girls.
Tomorrow.
But please go on and follow. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I know it's been a long day. It's been an hour and 30 minutes for an hour show. We crushed it. We really
Ish.
are good with Tom. This is what happens when you have 18 people with ADD do a live show.
Yes.
Yeah, there's not
And-
enough
and
Adderall to fix this shit.
And words are hard.
Words are hard.
Words are hard.
Yeah, and we only said fuck three times now.
Fuck.
That was the
Four
fourth
times
time,
now.
so.
Yeah. So, it's not bad. It could be worse.
Well,
I think Curtis just said it. That doesn't count, though.
Technically, the first time was a fuh.
Yeah, that's true. You
So-
saved it halfway.
So it was like 2.5.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. I think in the world we live in, that's fine. They subject us to way worse on TV these days.
It's fine.
Yeah, okay. All right. Love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. We're going to head out. We'll see y'all tomorrow, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you're following all the channels. We'll be uploading videos and bring you all fresh new content. Guys, thank y'all so much. Michael, appreciate
All
you.
right, thank you.
Whit, thank you.
Yep.
Let's go home. See y'all. We
ya.
got more to drink.